Christopher, it is Rocket Lab Daily, episode 18. We've been away for 2 days. You know what? Saturday, out of respect for Rocket Lab Weeksy. And then, yesterday we just took a little break, but it's nice to be back, brother. I'm so happy to have you back here. We already have a good few people popping in, but I want to say to you, Chris, happy Father's Day for yesterday. And how are you getting on?
Thanks, man. Father's Day was good and bad. It's been a little rough last couple of days, so again, apologies, guys, for missing the daily. But Father's Day was great. I spent the day with my daughters, my dad. Uh, um, doesn't get much better than kids, man. That's life's greatest reward, in my opinion. I loved it. Um, Taught more about getting my daughter set up with her own trading or stock account. She'll be 18 at the end of this month, so all the shares and everything I bought for, I'm going to transfer over to her account. And we talked Rocket Lab a lot during lunch. It was great. So I missed everything. It's been kind of odd not going live every day. We did it for 17 days straight. So you kind of miss it. You do. You kind of miss it. I'm glad to be back.
No, I am so happy to have you back. We had quite a long stream yesterday, so I didn't do a solo. We had a long stream on EV tells us about 2.5 hours long. So, guys, any of you that was there, thank you so much. But today, I have a little bit to talk about. We have a new launch coming up. We have potential new contracts coming in. We're going to talk about lasers. We're going to talk about that ongoing war that's happening. There's a story about dilution going around the space industry at the moment. I actually might start with that. And we're going to have quite a bit of fun. But what I want to start with is, we got quite a bit of feedback from a few people over the last few streams that they don't have time to listen to banter and they want to hear an hour of Rocket Lab. Look, guys, I am not going to change our format. But what I have decided to do, because you have addressed it to me, I'm starting to clip up some videos. So you might have seen 3 videos drop today. I'm starting to clip up some videos, and I'm going to clip up some for Chris so he can put them on his YouTube. And if you haven't followed his YouTube, it's the Haste Club. Guys, we need him to have 50 subscribers so we can go live together. But I'm going to start clipping up. So you guys that don't have the time to listen to us have a laugh, enjoy ourselves, I'll clip it up so it's all the information together. I think that way is the best of both worlds. I just said to Chris, look, we're here streaming 7 days a week, whether it's Rocket Lab, eVTOLs, launches, anything. I'm not going to lie, guys. We're doing this for free. So at least let us have a little bit of fun while we're doing it. I don't want to be here being told I can't have a laugh with my mate. No one's forcing anyone to watch. But Chris, what do you think of that? Do you think clipping it up's best option?
I saw one of the clips today and I liked it. I listened to it. I like the idea. I get it. People are busy. Not everybody. Look, I rarely watch an entire Joe Rogan live stream. I love Joe Rogan. And I watch a lot of the clips. And sometimes what'll happen is if I just don't enjoy the clip, I'm not going to watch the whole episode. But if I like the clip, usually I tend to click on it and watch the whole thing. So I get it. It's time consuming, especially with a company like Rocket Lab. There's a lot of information. People are trying to get the newest information as fast as possible. I get it. But I didn't start Haste Club so that I can be just like every other YouTuber and go, here's the numbers, here's the facts, here's what's going on. Because that's boring. It gets old. It's repetitive. I just can't do it every day. It's not me. It's just not how I run my life. It's not how I run my everyday investing strategies. And if I'm not having fun, I'm not going to do it. And I've had a lot of fun doing the Haste Club. I intend to continue to have fun doing it. And it's my own project. And if it bombs, well, here's the thing: is that I've got kids, right? And life is short, and one day you're not going to be here anymore, and you might have nothing more. Your kids might not have nothing more than your videos. And that's what they're going to have. And that's how they're going to remember a lot of you. And I want them to see that, dad was actually having fun. It wasn't just a job. Like you said, I don't make money off of this. I don't get paid for this. Uh, I enjoy it. That's the reason I do it. But I'm definitely going to continue to have fun with it. I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. This is never meant to be, primo, top of the line investment advice. This is supposed to be the exact opposite. This is for brand new investors, people that don't know a lot about the company, that don't know a lot about investing. And just to say the opposite of that, every single day since we've been doing this, I get messages from people that tell me that they actually learn more from us on our channel, but they have fun doing it. They have a lot of other places they can go. They have a lot of other options they can go click on. So I appreciate people coming back in. It is more laid back. We do have a lot more fun. The guests that come on, they have a blast because they don't have to bring the receipts. They're not getting blown up in the chats going, you were wrong about this and you were wrong about that. We're not here to be right about every single little thing. We can't be. We're human. It's impossible. And I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to say things that people don't always like. It's okay. It's, it's impossible to agree on everything. That's asinine to think that. But it's better to have fun with it, especially when you're wrong. And I'm wrong a lot. I've got no problem admitting that. So yeah, I'm going to continue to have fun too, buddy. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop.
Now, before we get into the dilution story, I just have an announcement to make, guys. So we have 2 guests lined up for this week. We have Space Ghost, who is an absolute genius. I am actually going to share a post he put up on X, and we're going to have a discussion about some of the content in it. It is quite good. And then we have Dave G lined up to come on this week. I was trying to get him on today, but he's quite busy at the moment. But Dave G will be on this week with us. So I can't wait to collaborate with Dave. But what I'm going to do,
That's
going to
going
jump
to be
straight to the chats. Go on.
No, go ahead, jump. You don't want me talking too much. Jump in the chats. That's much more fun. These guys are great in the chats.
So we have Midwest Cannabis. Brother, you seem to be here every single day. Absolutely love it. Thank you for the support. And guys, 17 of you here, 17 likes. That's what we want. Francisco, my brother. Francisco, I actually didn't get talking to you today. I hope you don't mind. Some of the stuff we're talking about today is going to be some of the information you shared, but full credit goes to Francisco. And if you haven't, make sure to follow Francisco Space 5 on X, guys. But first thing I want to say, Chris, Redwire have announced they're doing a cash raise, 200 million. Look, they're starting to steam back up. They were sitting around $20 today. They've dropped 10% after hours. 200 million dilution. I think the market cap is around 1.3, 1.5 billion. Someone jump into the comments and let me know. But
that would have been a great one for Dave. That would have been a great one for Dave G. Which, by the way, is awesome. He's been coming on and joining us. That's great. Can't wait. I've been following Dave G since day one, and we've talked a little bit in the chats back and forth and on X, obviously. But yeah, I can't wait to get Dave on here. He's really good at just finding the obscure things that a lot of us just kind of overlook, especially when it comes to like a red wire. I've always been a little bit skeptical, but at the same time, very interested in the research he does. So yeah, can't wait. Excited about having him on. Can't wait to get him on. When it comes to red wire, I'm probably going to get a lot of slack for this, but I'm going to just go ahead and say that I'm not concerned about the dilution overall. I mean, we saw RKLB go through this. We've seen other companies go through this. And it does hurt in the short term as far as the stock price, but when actually you see what the reason is behind it, if it's going to build the company and make the company strong in the long term, yeah, it always sucks in the short term. But if you are a space investor, I don't like giving financial advice, but space is years out. There's a long way to go with a lot of this stuff. It's too easy to get excited too early. but I've not looked as much into Redwire as I have a Kratos or a Rocket Lab. But everything I've seen, I like. I mean, any company at these stages is going to have a few red flags, but so far so good with me.
Yeah, Redwire. So how Redwire got my attention was, look, guys, as you know, we're big into eVTOLs, and they acquired a VTOL company, Edge Autonomy, valued at 950 million. Now, I could see this dilution coming a mile off, really, if we ever got back to these sort of highs. Look, I think the sort of making hay while the sun is shining. I do believe, honestly, with this war kicking off in Israel and Iran, that look, any potential move for the US to go in could bring down the whole macro market if that does occur. Guys, look, I am Irish. This is not financial advice whatsoever. I'm not massive into US politics. I'm not massive into Irish politics, let alone US politics. However, I do feel if the US were to go in on a war in the Middle East, I do feel the whole macro will get pulled down. So I do think this is an ideal time for you Redwire investors to get that dilution at such a high price. Look, it was only 3 months ago that you were down 50% from where we were today. So look, guys, overall, I think that's great. But look, you're here for Rocket Lab. So I think we're going to welcome Chris back to a few figures.
I hate you. I hate you right now. I'm teasing. I'm actually interested in. I'm actually very interested in this. This would be very cool.
So over today, we're up 4.5%. Then after hours, look, we're sort of sitting flat 0.3%. Over the last 5 days, we're down 10%. I do feel like the whole market did pull down when Israel did launch them attacks on Iran. Iran has been responding. I do keep a close eye on that because, look, it swings and roundabouts. I do feel like it's going to pull down the overall market if the US go in. However, Rocket Lab, and we'll talk about this today, and the defensive capabilities, and then we'll look at new projects that may come about due to this heightened conflict across the world for Rocket Lab. It doesn't only include Haste, it includes Neutron. You'll even get parts of Minaric in there. We can talk a little bit about our space-based solar. We can talk about the AI aspect, and we can bring a few more tricks to the table. Guys, actually, let me know in the comments. A lot of you seem to like conspiracies and like, well, not conspiracies, but like ideas and when we do bring receipts and where we get our ideas. So is that a type of episode you would like, where we sort of go back over all the conspiracies we've been through so far, or even the conspiracies before this whole project started? We've said about, I'm not going to dive in too much about this because we say it every single episode, but Chris and Francisco were right about Haste in the UK. So there's a good few things that are happening, and that's why Chris has been getting a little bit of hate on X recently when he posted something about Neutron. Look, we can bring receipts for certain things, so just have an open book is all I'll say. Look, over the past month, we're up 3.83%, so we've had a little bit of a bounce, and again, over the 6 months, we're still sitting flat on off 2.5%. But I'm not too worried until we get the ball rolling. Like, even today, we've got an announcement. Next on the pad at LC1, Symphony in the Stars will deploy a single satellite to 650-kilometer orbit for a confidential commercial customer. Chris, have you any idea who this confidential commercial customer could be? Are we going to look into it? Is there any point looking into it? What are your thoughts on that, brother?
I was interested in the fact that it was just one satellite, and I originally assumed that it was probably going to be for a past client. I napped a lot of today. I'm not gonna lie, I just napped a lot, and I jumped up and got on X and saw a lot what was going on in the chats as far as the Space Investors Group, as far as Rocket Lab. Of course, Francisco had some amazing ideas, and that stuff was getting bounced back and forth between him and Brett and Space and all you guys, man. You guys did. I don't know how you guys do it, man. Honestly, I really don't. I swear to God, you're all just AI. You're Elon built you, every single one of you. It's amazing. And then GY Kiwi, he introduced something to me that I just blew my mind. I just was like, that's some Star Wars crazy stuff right there. And I didn't have time. I checked it out. I looked into it just a little bit, but then got on with you right after. I want to get that guy on here. He's always got some really cool insight, and he's down there, and I believe he's a Kiwi. I believe he's in New Zealand. If not, he's close. And he's always very big supporter. He's really great as far as going back and forth with info, because he's he's got a really good way of telling me that I'm wrong without telling me that in a bad.
I think I lost you there, Chris.
Call.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I'm sorry. My phone's I'm still getting phone calls. It's been a really hectic couple of days, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
We're gonna
that's fine.
push
You
through
can even
though.
mute and go on your phone call, and I can continue if you want.
No. It's so after a while, man. It's just hard to keep on talking about it over and over on the phone. So it's better just. I'm happy to be here. Trust me, I'm happy to be here. But again, GY Kiwi, Sean, thanks for the info. Thanks for everything you do, man. You teach me a lot. If you ever want to come on here, you are definitely welcome. But I don't know. This is it's interesting. I wasn't expecting this. I honestly thought the next launch was going to become out of Wallops. That's what I was thinking originally. Um, I just, hey man, we miss stuff. We all miss stuff from time to time. I'm sure somebody else out there in the comments knows a lot more about it. And that's the great thing about Haste Club, is that it's not about us; it's about everybody. So if there's something in the comments we can get to, or go back on. And just one more thing about Redwire too. I think that the timing is interesting as far as the dilution, because they are looking for people, other companies, to kind of step up and help out with the Iron Dome project, right? Rocket Lab had the dilution for a good reason. They made the dilution so they could actually raise more money and do more things. It could be a huge positive for them. I see it. I mean, I do. It sucks short term, but I don't see them because they got to raise money because they're making mistakes and they're falling behind. It could be very well that, hey, there's a lot more potential out there, but they need more money for R&D. They need more money, for different aspects of their business that's going to help propel them to a whole different level in the future. Yeah, but yeah, again, man, I'm sure the comments would tell us a lot down there. You guys are always great, man. You're always on top of it. So yeah, let's hear from them guys.
Francisco says he's here trying to figure out who the new Electron customer is. Lol. Now, Francisco, I'm going to be dead honest with you. I'm about to share a few of your posts here. If you're free, do you want to jump on? Just because I don't want to be stealing your limelight. Guys, these next 3 posts are about to come from Francisco. The only reason I'm putting them up here is because I know he is happy enough with us sharing it. But I don't want to take someone's information and make out that I am a genius, because I'm not. You'll very quickly get to know that here, guys. We are here, average retail investors. We get specialists on, try and convey it to the average retail investor, the layman. Don't care if you have 1 share, no shares, 1 million shares. Everyone's opinion matters. Guys, anyone wants to call in today, you're welcome to. We had one of the best shows yesterday. That's why we didn't actually run a Rock Lab Daily, because I was actually having such good time on eVTOL Fan Club, new podcast I created where people call in, and we had a aerospace engineer and a private pilot come on, Mark Berry, who was talking to us. Mark is a big investor in Rocket Lab too, so you actually may see him come on one of these streams. But guys, everyone's welcome. Hook them, hi Liam. Brother, you seem to be here every single live stream, whether it's eVTOL, whether it's Rocket Lab. Brother, I really appreciate your support. I appreciate everyone's support.
Can you possibly, I'm sure you can see when I posted the live stream and look at GY Kiwi's, what he posted.
Yeah,
He,
do that.
that'd be another thing. I mean, obviously, always bring Francisco up. That poor guy is not going to get any sleep until he finds out. He is not. He's gonna comb the earth until he figures out who this client is. That's so great about you guys. You miss out on a lot of the little details if you don't have friends like that. That's gonna help you find those things. But yeah, Sean, he blew my mind. He opened me up to some different possibilities, some things that were something I admit I'd never considered, never even thought was even a reality or a possibility. But it got me thinking. It really got me thinking. So that's something else that we could possibly pull up and look more into. But again, just to give a shout out to him. We always give credit where we get the info from. A lot of it doesn't come from me. I wish I could say I did, but no, you guys are great in the comments, man. As always, thank you.
Yeah, what I'll do, I will pull up that whole thread because, to be fair, it was big. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly touch on, because we were talking about the Iron Dome. Let me actually jump back to here. Wait a minute. Look, that's my big face. But Francisco did share Iran fires new maneuverable projectiles in latest strikes on Israel. So these missiles can evade and bypass the Israel defense to go the Iron Dome. Does that worry you in the project of the Golden Dome? I know we had Curtis on here not long ago say that it's a completely different system where there's more ground defense fired up and they get the missiles to follow them, where the Golden Dome will be a space-based defensive system. But does it worry you that, look, we're getting better and better with the technology for defensive aspects. However, we may not be fully aware of the offensive technology that some of these countries may have. And then how does Rocket Lab fit into this?
Francisco, again, man, this guy's all over the place. He posted some things or something, and again, I barely touched on it. I've not been on a lot. That there were some advanced missiles that could penetrate the Iron Dome. That was interesting because I thought the Iron Dome was, almost flawless. And I guess, obviously technology is always going to get better, and there's going to be ways to get through those kind of things. And that's just yet another post we can bring up. We can break down. Obviously, Francisco's, he's been all over that in the last couple of days. Iran looks like they're about to turn into I'm running away, even though they did get through. It's been crazy what's going on. All ends sooner than later, but it has shown that there is a need for all those different aspects, whether it's offensive or it's defensive. I'll believe until it's proven differently that Rocket Lab is always going to be focused on the defensive side. But there are other space companies out there like a Kratos that can be used for offensive. And from an investment strategy, might not be a bad idea. I saw a thing today where Congress was buying up Kratos. They were buying up Lidos or Lidos. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. A lot of people are going into thinking something like a Lockheed or Northrop Grumman. They'll probably get some of these contracts. It's stupid, kind of ignorant to think they wouldn't. but they've also taken a lot of losses and they got to offset a lot of things. So I wouldn't expect a lot, big jump up from them. My son actually sent me something today that made a lot of sense as well. And it's interesting to think about some of these smaller up and coming space companies, maybe even like a Planet Lab. I don't know, but they're going to be getting pieces of this. It's a big pie. And I said before that it's going to take a lot more than just, no one company is going to get the entire Golden Dome project. It's way too big. Trump wants it done in a short amount of time. So you're going to need help from a lot of different companies. So it's wise to look at what other companies are doing, whether it's an offense or it's a defense. But if it's space related, and almost any way, it's hard to count anybody out at this point. I mean, yeah, we saw ASTS skyrocket again. Awesome for them. If you're in the ASTS, great. I'm happy for you. I really am. That's awesome, and they're probably going to be getting a big chunk of it as well. But yeah, just off the top of my head, the potential isn't going to be just for one side, offense or defense. I think a lot of players are going to be involved, and it's going to be kind of hard, to say which one is really going to get the biggest part of the pie. But whether you're into a Redwire or you're into a Kratos or you're into an ASTS or yes, definitely a Rocket Lab, and obviously their Haste program is going to play a very large part in it. Something we've seen. We didn't expect an Iron Dome, but we did see something similar months and months ago. The need for it. U.S. government's already investing in it prior to the announcement of the Golden Dome. So definitely a lot more to peel back and look more into. I like a lot of what are these. Now that I'm looking at it through a different lens, things are starting to make a lot more sense. Whether it comes to a dilution or it comes to a partnership with a different company they may have never thought they'd partner with before. Those are the little details that we do try and find out. We do try and discover and see where those things are going. Sometimes it leads nowhere, but sometimes, man, it gives us, just the right info we need. So we're making wise decisions with our investments.
I want to give the guys a little bit of food for thought, and I'll ring a siren here now, guys. A conspiracy is about to come up for any of you that like this. So we did touch on before, I think Francisco again brought up the topic of, look, having movable launch pads, yeah? And we see the likes of Chinese companies launching rockets from the likes of ships, yeah? We know the importance of haste. Now, we now know there's maneuverable projectiles that can evade the likes of the Iron Dome. We know it's a completely different concept to the Golden Dome. However, we know that Rocket Lab are looking into their marine assets for their launch pad for Neutron. It did get me thinking that, look, if they can't get the missile to get deflected, as we shall say in layman's terms, you're going to need something that can chase it. And there's nothing better than a rocket that can travel at 22 to 25 Mach. Could the US government, look, Haste, we need to remember it's a hypersonic accelerator suborbital test Electron. It's a testing platform. Could we see the US starting to test marine launchers that potentially would be able to maybe not even shoot down missiles, but be able to deliver a payload at such a speed that could deflect a missile? And if so, wouldn't it be better to have them out at sea? Because America is surrounded by ocean. And aren't you better to have these in multiple locations rather than depend on, we've seen in Israel at the moment, the Golden Dome gets deployed when the rocket is more or less over the city. However, wouldn't it be better to have your movable launch pads like we were talking about before? And we're not talking about that's Rocket Lab's vision, but it can be the government's vision. And if the contract's there, I am sure Peter Beck will go after it, and there'll be a lot of money to be made. And that is an aspect where, look, the likes of a SpaceX or a ULA or even the likes of Lockheed,
Kratos would actually be more in line, in my
yeah,
opinion, for something like that. They're already working on smaller hypersonic vehicles, and the rapid response test system for for Haste, and again, Firefly did it last year. Um, it's it's not yet feasible to think that we can just, hey, we have a missile incoming, we have to launch Haste
yeah,
in the next 30 minutes. That's not feasible, not yet. But um, if for some crazy reason there was, we really needed, and I hate the fact that we even need an Iron Dome in the first place. Let me
yeah.
just
I
say
hate
that.
the fact we're even talking about this. Not gonna lie, but
But if we have a Golden Dome thing over the U.S. and we are attacked, and there's multiple missiles coming in, um, in my opinion, if they were to use Haste for some sort of defense, it would be to launch a hypersonic that would probably deploy something like drones or something to that nature, that could be used for defense. And um, I think I think drones in a lot of ways are undervalued and overlooked. Um, we can get into even more conspiracy theories as far as the drones we saw over the upper East Coast last year and who launched them and where they came out of. I do know that the U.S. Navy is working on a launch system for hypersonics off of naval vehicles. That's something they are working on. But again, to me, um, there is a use case for Haste here, and it could just be the fact that they're testing systems for other companies like Kratos, so they're perfecting whatever goal they're trying to achieve. So I remember even Jacob said at one point that he could see that Haste could be basically decommissioned over the next few years, and it is just for testing for for Neutron, for other aspects of something similar. And they're just jumping in, going, "Hey, I'm gonna take a piece of the pie. We can do it. We can launch it. Let's just go ahead and make some money off of this while we can. At the same time, gather the data we need for Neutron." Um, that all makes Jacob really hit the nail on the head there. It was a brilliant take on that. Um, you guys all know I think Haste is going to be around forever. That could be ignorant. Uh, that's why we have you guys. But no, back to what what you were alluding to. That I mean, you step back and look at it. That does fit more into what Kratos is doing. As far as that, because I guess it wouldn't be really considered offensive, but because it's a reaction, it's more
yeah,
defensive. But no, it's not. Some of those things, like I said, are already in place. Like I said, the U.S. Navy is already working on launching from ships. Uh, it's not too far, not too far crazy as far as we've had a lot of more crazy conspiracies. And that's also when you guys know too. Whenever whoever comes on to our show here, that is like one of the requirements. Towards the end of the show, we don't ask you to bring receipts, but we want you to tell us your biggest, craziest conspiracy theory, or craziest goal, or even if you just want to talk about, hey, are we ever going to, make it out past the Kuiper Belt, or just whatever those things in space that get you excited about space, or what
yeah.
gets you
Some
excited
next
about it.
random question, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. But it's to take the edge off and realize, hey, we're not going to take it too serious. We're not going to ask you for receipts. It's not supposed to be investment advice. It's space talk. We do focus mostly on Rocket Lab, but it's just space talk, man. Uh, don't take it too seriously. Life's too short for all that. And there's been quite a few things in the comments. Let's jump in there if we can, if you don't mind.
yeah. So Tom Lotter, hi Tom, brother. You don't only come to every stream, you watch every single one of our videos, and do you know what? I always see you there. So, brother, welcome to Rocket Lab Daily. Tom Lotter thinks whoever will get the bigger parts of the Golden Dome project Rocket Lab will have the advantages from it, at least as subcontractor to the selected company. And then Tom says, well, if you want to shoot down those kind of weapons rockets, you may not wait until they're already in your country. You must shoot them down right after they start during the phase that's still climbing. There is a 0 to 3 minute time window. After that, it's near impossible to take such an incoming weapon down. There we go. And that's what I mean. That's the kind of thing I love the comments for. They're able to more or less put a little bit of color into some of our crazier thoughts. Also, could it be the likes of a Haste would deploy something? Or are we looking into Haste too much on occasions? And is it just a testing platform with the vision of decommissioning it once the only thing I don't agree with is surely no matter what, there's still test flights of aircrafts. And aircrafts have been around for hundreds of years. I believe that, like hypersonics, you're always going to need to test something, whether it's calibrating equipment, calibrating payloads, being able to test the ability to actually deploy such a payload to a location. I do actually genuinely believe that hypersonic testing will always be there. Will it be as big as it is today? Look, I think we're at that phase. We're in the climbing phase of demand for hypersonics. We know that Kratos says they have demand for one launch a day. Could I always see that being the case?
No, I agree. I do. Me and Jacob will agree on 99.9% of things. But when it comes to Haste, a lot of what you said, it's not. So they're basically a separate portion. They're under Rocket Lab, but they have their own COO. They are totally for. They're working with Kratos. It's all for space defense. It's all for U.S. Air Force, U.S. Space Force, the Navy. I do believe it was a contingency on the fact that that's how they got Wallops or permission to launch out of Wallops. I'll say that until Beck himself tells me I'm wrong, because of the fact that it's so difficult just to get permission to launch out of Wallops. It is mostly military launches that come out of there, and it's very, very, very protected. So I don't see Haste going away anytime soon whatsoever, especially with having something like a Golden Dome project. Like you said, the whole world is getting more into hypersonics. It's not going to be just the U.S. that's getting involved in the Golden Dome. Other countries are going to be getting involved in it with us. So it just opens up more clients, more contracts, more need. And then, most likely we're going to see more companies that are going to be either developing their own hypersonics or they are using Rocket Lab technology, because it'd be a lot cheaper. Why would you go out and try and start from scratch and spend billions of dollars when you can just go and hire Rocket Lab and go, hey, let me buy your technology, let me buy this, let me buy that from you. And much like New Zealand's doing, Australia's doing, they're already again working with the UK. So it doesn't look like something that's going to go away tomorrow, even the next 3 to 5 years.
So then, Chris, I want to get a little bit more wild. And again, it's going to be another Francisco post. And we're going to have a little bit of a look at this. We're talking about hypersonics. Also, Tom, don't worry about your English. My English ain't great as it is, brother. So trust me, your English is perfect. Tom says, for his opinion, you don't need such kind of vehicle, Kratos, to shoot down the incoming weapon. For that, you need satellites with projectiles and some kind of magazine to reload. And that's the thing, who's going to deliver these satellites up there? It just gets better and better for the company. But I'm jumping across. We're talking about hypersonics an awful lot. But I genuinely don't believe the only part of the business we know that it's not going to just be hypersonics when it comes to defensive side. Now, this is going to get a little bit wild, Chris. So, laser-powered weapons are here. U.S. military abandons cables in radical shift that could revolutionize the battlefield tech forever. Yeah? So, I haven't properly dived into this, but let me... So, DARPA successfully transmitted over 800 watts of power using a laser beam across 5.3 miles. The technology enables drones to fly indefinitely, powered by continuously by ground-based laser stations. Current efficiency is 20% over short distances, but improvements aim to double or triple this rate. Potential applications extend beyond military, offering sustainable energy solutions to remote civilian areas. Now, is this where we see the connection? And this is why, guys, I brought up Redwire at the very start. Redwire have acquired Edge Autonomy. Edge Autonomy is basically a UAV company. They have your drones. We are getting Minaric, and again, we have been talking about space-based solar. We've been talking about the potential of using lasers to fire back down to Earth receivers. DARPA have proved you can do it over 5.3 miles, but we know that's going to get better over time. Could we see a partnership between Rocket Lab and Redwire, where Rocket Lab would supply power to drones, or could we see Rocket Lab supplying power to UAVs of the Department of Defense? What do you think, Chris?
That's fun. I think I'm rubbing off on you, man. You're getting like Chris. You're getting a little crazy. That's interesting. No, that's what we do here, man. Right? We have fun with it. We can never keep up with the likes of Beck. The guy's always 10 steps ahead. So if we're not thinking outside the box, we're missing something. We always do. Sometimes it's right in our face, and sometimes it sounds almost too simple. No, that's interesting. Very, very interesting take. I like that.
No, to be fair, it kind of ties in with everything we've been talking about over, I'd say, the past 5 streams when it comes to space-based solar, the deployment to receivers using lasers. It ties in with, look, my love for VTOLs, Edge Autonomy, Redwire Space, that connection into space. No, I did like that concept, and then we could talk about the Department of Defense. But then Francisco also shared. Francisco, brother, you are amazing. But are we looking at a new Rocket Lab customer here? So Astroscale, the space junk removal venture, announced a British government contract worth around 7 million to deploy a pair of CubeSats in 2027 to monitor space weather while tracking over or other objects in low Earth orbit. Now, this does sound like the type of Electron, an ideal Electron mission, a 7 million mission that, look, you deploy to a specific orbital insertion.
Yeah, there's something we're missing there. That's if Francisco's posting that, there's something else we're missing in here. I don't know what it is yet, but that's not just as basic as there's a lot more there. I can guarantee you, if Francisco posted that, there's something there we're missing. Don't hold back, Francisco.
Jump in and tell us, where's the hidden meaning to this?
Oh, I'm not saying there is a hidden meaning to it right now. I'm just saying that there's often there's things that we miss. Yeah, dude, you know how it is here, man. We overlook some of the most basic contracts, or we miss the small print, the small details. And when we do see them, we can start putting these dots together, and then things start becoming more clear, and we see a bigger picture.
Okay, so Francisco has just shared in, but I'm about to throw another conspiracy out there. Yeah, so Francisco goes, no, there's nothing, just a thought. But if Rocket Lab worked with the lights, now this is where I'm about to get a little bit insane, guys. Yeah. So if Rocket Lab did work with the likes of a space junk removal venture, yeah, we know space junk is a massive problem in space at the moment. Now, we can look at it from two angles, yeah. We can look at it. There is a junk problem up there, so it's a nice little business you could get into. However, with the likes of the Department of Defense, could you see a contract where the Department of Defense shoots something like this down, shoot a satellite down, and then you have to get rid of the space debris? Is that something that Rocket Lab could get into? That's a little bit of food for thought. There's no receipts to that, but I just want to say, is that something you can see Rocket Lab getting into?
Man, you're asking the wrong person. You're asking the guy that thinks the craziest stuff. So I'm always gonna be like, yeah, man, that'd be great. I mean, I'm sitting in the back of my head going, space lasers, shoot them down. You know, I'm I'm retarded, man. You're asking the wrong guy when it comes to really outside the box thinking, because I'm always going to think too big. I'm always going to think too crazy. I'm always going to look way too far into things. I'd rather be wrong than miss it, if that makes sense. You know, I mean, as an investor, I'd rather be wrong than miss it. So back to the Neutron thing. I hope they launch freaking tomorrow. I hope for no delays, and I hope that I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm already wrong. We all know I'm wrong, but I'd rather be wrong than miss it. So whether it's a crazy conspiracy we come up with, or they're just straight facts, going across the board. Either way, I don't want to miss any of it. So yeah, never hold back. You know me, buddy. You never hold back on those crazy things. Um, Also, just really quick, I haven't I do this way too much, but just going back to Haste again, the fact that just why would they actually kind of break off Haste from Rocket Lab? Again, it's still in a Rocket Lab. It's still the same company, but they
Yep.
do have their own COO. Um, and because of the fact that it's mostly defense and stuff like that, and they're probably going to ask them to do a lot more than Beckley wants to do when it comes to offense later down the road, especially with some of the people that partner up with. And is it something that you could possibly see, or you guys could possibly see, that maybe 3 to 5 years from now, Haste is a regular kind of thing, and it's mostly DoD, DARPA, Golden Dome, whatever, and it kind of breaks off and becomes either a private or actually a public company, um, and is not really a part of Rocket Lab anymore. And Beck is doing more of the space exploratory stuff, where he's going to Venus, he's going to Mars, and he's doing more of the stuff that he wanted to do originally. Now, the reason I ask that is because it makes sense in a lot of ways, just because of the fact that space is not cheap. You got to make money from somewhere. Just like SpaceX makes most of their money off of Starlink, and they're thinking about taking Starlink, possibly making that, IPOing Starlink and making it a public company. Just a thought. While you were talking, I was thinking, and again, outside the box, but just an idea. Just wanted your thoughts on it.
Francisco might have actually found the confidential customer, because Francisco goes, Rocket Lab is already working with a company for the space junk removal. And then GY Kiwi has come in and said Rocket Lab is a partner with Astroscale on space junk. So is that the confidential customer? Have you found it, Francisco? Potentially. But then why would they be confidential? They're getting rid of space junk. Or am I completely right and it's a defensive type of mission? But I don't think so, because it's a commercial customer. But they are working with the UK Ministry of Defence. So
They've
therefore,
it
it
doesn't
could
have to
be.
be. Francisco pointed this out earlier too. It doesn't just because it's a commercial client doesn't mean it's not for defense because we work with commercial clients that are defense related or work directly for different defense companies, whether it's or countries or programs. Sorry, so it could be labeled, as especially if it's like a classified mission, they're going to try and make it look, even less so of a military type mission. So it could very well be something like that.
And Astroscale is working with the UK Ministry of Defence. So Astroscale is the commercial customer, and then it could be confidential because it's working with the UK Ministry of Defence. And then because it's working with the US Ministry of Defence, this space junk tracking could potentially be the idea I was introducing. I'm only trying to blow me on trumpet there, guys. I'm completely joking there. Francisco could be on something though. Francisco goes, no, that's no customer. The confidential one is a new customer. Okay. It is 2 satellites, 2 missions this year. GYQE, not the confidential partner. They launched earlier 2025 on 1 mission. Okay. You're going to get me down a rabbit hole tonight, guys. I'm actually not doing anything for the rest of the evening, so I'm actually going to join you on this hunt for the confidential customer. Do you know what, Chris? How many people do you reckon they will have living on Mars by 2050?
At least 2, because GY Kiwi and Francisco are definitely going to be getting on that spaceship. Those guys are awesome, man. That's what I love about this community. Thanks. Just honestly, thanks. I've been out of it for the last few days. I've not been keeping up. Just you guys are great. I just had to say that. But yeah, go ahead. I didn't hear your question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, how many people do you reckon will be living on Mars by 2050?
That's crazy to think about, right? I mean, that could be a
I
real.
was just
I mean, just the
staring at
fact
that
that that could
picture
be
of
a
space. I
reality.
was like,
Just the
what?
fact that it could be a reality is just crazy to think about. I never would have thought in my lifetime I'd even could be able to consider something that crazy and it actually be a possibility. Um, I nerd out on just the photos we get back from the James Webb Telescope, and I mean, I love everything about space. I would never move there. I would never. I'm not doing it. It's not for me. I'm not gonna lie, but just the possibilities is fun to think about. But I mean, you never know. May never get there. I mean, it's hard, man. It's really difficult. We got rovers and stuff on that thing, but 2050. That's a long. It seems like a long time, but I'm old, so that time goes by really fast. That's like what 26 years from now, 25 years from now. A lot has to happen in 25 years, and sounds like a long time, but it's really not. Not especially when it comes to space.
Guys, I haven't thought about this, so this is literally me thinking during a live stream. Would anyone be interested? Yeah, because I know you guys want to see more Rocket Lab content and less of me and Chris talking to each other, but then some people enjoy me and Chris talking to each other. So, like I done with eVTOL Weekly and eVTOL Fan Club, eVTOL Weekly brings the news, and eVTOL Fan Club brings our wild thoughts and just a laid back approach. Is it something that you would like? Because I noticed 51 people still stayed there while we spoke about Mars. 52. Is it something people would like to see me and Chris say once a week? Talk not just about Rocket Lab, but talk about everything space, where we come up with our conspiracies, or it could be questions that you yourself put in, anything about space. It would be interesting because I know loads of you are space nerds as well as Rocket Lab investors. And that way, me and Chris would be able to air our thoughts without interrupting Rocket Lab Daily. We could save up our madness for, I don't know, Space Talk Daily, I don't know, whatever, or Space Talk Weekly, whatever we want to call it. I'd come up with some random name, guys. But I've one thing to ask you, yeah? Look, we're rolling out daily. You guys seem to show up no matter what. But I have a goal of getting to 5,000 subscribers by September. We're nearly at 2,500. Please, guys, jump into YouTube and bang that subscribe button. We're at 2,479. The more people we get to watch Rocket Lab Daily, the more guests we can get on. Some guests won't come on because we're not big enough. It's not about being big, but if you can convince, I don't know, Peter Beck to come on to me now, trust me, I don't know if he'd talk to me, brother. Maybe he would. But yeah, guys, please, if you're watching this every day, please sign into Google, jump across to YouTube, the links in the video you're watching, and bang that subscribe button. Chris, any mad question for me?
No, not a bit. Not a bit. Like I said, I've been off for a couple of days, so a little behind on everything. I know there's a lot of people in the chats that have helped me out the last couple of days. Thanks for all your well wishes. For those of you that know, I really appreciate it. It's been great hearing from you. It's great to be back on. I know today was a little bit choppy, a little bit here and there, but that's what we do here. And we are gonna. The reason why we're asking the questions, as far as like what you guys want to hear, so like that, I did not expect to have more than like 5 people listening to me, and that's why I started Haste Club. And we are going to be kind of branching the Hustle Brothers and the Haste Club off. So we want to make sure that we have something for everyone. And we'll be working together constantly, but it'll be more based on what you guys, your feedback, because again, it's about us as a community. So you're kind of helping build this channel, and when we do have the separate channels, there'll be something for everyone. So that if you just want straight facts, you just want to go just Rocket Lab, Rocket Lab, Rocket Lab, that's what you'll get. And then if you want the more laid back, Chris on the river, chilling, we're all talking and we're having fun, you'll get that opportunity as well. It's it's always fun to joke around, but again, especially like earnings season, we've got some special guests coming up just for earnings season. That's going to be a lot of fun, and we will get really deep into the numbers. I'll actually be getting deep into the numbers myself, which, as you guys know, I never do. But again, I never expected all this. So we're learning, and you guys are helping us. You guys are teaching us, and we're growing together. So thanks for that. It's been a lot of fun. Tonight's been a great way to come back, and looking forward to tomorrow. Again, we've got Space Ghost coming on really soon, and that guy's awesome, and I love that guy. And it's been my fault. I've had to kind of delay him a few times. And
again, look, 1 subscriber.
We do have the OG Dave G himself will be on. That's gonna be a fun time. I've got a lot of questions for Dave, so buckle up, buddy, when you get on. And Liam, go ahead if you see anything else in the chats. If not, we'll we can get off here. Give these guys a chance to try and go find out who this customer is that we're launching for.
GY Kiwi, I believe the new partner may be involved in sonification. Sound doesn't travel in space. Right, guys, do you know what? GY Kiwi, Francisco, Chris, let's make a little group on X tonight, and we're going to try and find out who this confidential customer is. and we're going to
Oh,
come
he
back.
sent me some stuff earlier, and I didn't have time to send it over to you. He sent me some stuff earlier, and then sent me more stuff.
Guys, anyone that wants to join this little group that we're going to have researching who this customer is, send me a DM and I'll just add you to this little group. I like little projects like this. It does get me excited. But I want to double back on what Chris is saying. My vision for this, look, this is Christopher's baby. It's his project. Absolutely unbelievable. There's no better man to work with. This guy is, look, he is off camera exactly how he is on camera. There's literally no change to the guy. And if you don't believe me, ask Francisco, ask Jacob. The man's a humble man. But yeah, this is why I love working with Chris, and this is why we're amalgamating the Hustle Brothers and the Haste Club when it comes to branching off to different channels. So we'll have the likes of RKLB Daily, we'll have the likes of our conspiracies on certain channels, we'll have the likes of, I don't know, your numbers, your facts. If you just want bullet points where you want to come for 5 minutes and you want to hear the straight facts, we're going to have little videos for that. But genuinely, guys, you need to jump on and subscribe to Haste Club on YouTube, because I'm going to be working very closely with Chris to get his subscriber count up, because that way we can run live on both channels, which therefore gives us a bigger reach. Bigger reach, more of a community. More of a community, more guests. More guests, more ideas. More ideas, more content. More content, pure excitement. I love it. Sometimes it's wild. I've saying to Chris, I love your feedback when you're coming into the comments and asking where we are, or is there a daily? Because sometimes it is hard to motivate yourself, especially at the start. I remember at the start of my first 5 videos were RKLB. Guys, if you don't believe me, they're pretty poor videos, so guys, don't judge me on it. But
I went live on my kayak for the first time on the river, and I was drunk off my ass. So don't worry about your first few videos, because I guarantee you mine were a lot worse. But it was only supposed to be me and Francisco and Johnny on there. That's what I thought. I had no idea. But it's a lot of fun. It's been a
now
lot
you're
of
the
fun. You
captain of this ship, brother.
got. I need a bigger boat. I need a bigger boat. Wouldn't be as
It's gonna
fun,
be
but
like
I think I
Noah's
need a
Ark.
bigger boat. Yeah, boats cost money, man. They're expensive and a lot of maintenance. Not a fan. Not a fan. I like my kayak, but yeah, man, this has been a lot of fun. Tonight's been a lot of fun. It's been great getting back in. Uh, I would love to get GY Kiwi on here live. I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to. I get it. It's not, man. Francisco will tell you, Johnny will tell you, it's not easy getting on if you've never just jumped right in. But just be yourself. I mean, just be 100% yourself. There's never any judgment. I make an idiot of myself every single time I come on this thing. So, um, I'll be the village clown or whatever, and you guys can just lay back and come on here and have some fun, because you always give great info, and you guys really know what you're doing. So it'd be great to have you on, Sean. Bro, just jump in anytime.
And guys, you see the chat yourself. No one ever gives abuse. Everyone gives respect. Even when someone disagrees, there's always respect there. So never be afraid to come on and say your thoughts. Today, you've listened to me talk about marine assets being used to deploy Electron and shoot down incoming missiles. You've heard me on about space junk and Rocket Lab potentially doing that. You've heard Chris talk about lasers shooting down satellites. Like, anything goes. You've heard me talk about going to Mars, living there. Do you know what? Guys, I love this community so much. But my name's Liam. I'm one of the Hustle Brothers here. We have our other Hustle Brother, Christopher Bell. He is the captain of the ship. He's the founder, the creator of Haste Club. And guys, guess what? No matter what anyone says, we'll be back tomorrow. People trying to shoot us down this week. We didn't go live 2 days. Do you know what? I don't really care. We're pushing forward with this project. We're going to be here every single day. Look, there will be some days, some occasions like that, but we will be here every single day. The more secure we get, I have some of my guys at the moment that are quite busy, but say when something happens to the likes of me and Christopher, at least we'll have another hustle brother to step in going forward. But guys, I want to thank you so much. Again, show the love to Chris. Bang the subscribe button for Haste Club. Let him go live with me. He's amazing. Chris, until tomorrow.
Until tomorrow. Oh, and tomorrow I'm gonna have some updates on the Neutron launch party for you guys. So yeah, tune
I'm
in.
excited.
Thanks again, everyone. Yeah, be fun. Let's have some fun.